Let's finish off our example with the year E7 class by adding a few more public methods. The plus method is called whenever a plus sign is used in conjunction with a year E7 object. We're defining this operation as the addition of an integer to a year to produce another year. The output year's value is the input argument year's value plus the integer. More checking is clearly needed, but the second object is supposed to be an integer. Other operators such as subtraction, multiplication, division, using the minus sign, the star, and the slash can also be implemented as methods. For years it maybe doesn't make any sense, so I haven't. If you search on implementing operators for your class in Matlab, you'll find the names of the other operators. That table will indicate, for instance, that the plus method is associated with the plus sign. Here's another one you'll find in that table, greater than or equal. This method gets called to define the value of an expression of the form a year E7 object 1 greater than or equal a year E7 object 2. Y1 and Y2 are the input arguments. The convention for greater than or equal is to return a logical. This implementation compares the value properties of the two year arguments. Lastly, let's have a method called days between, which is a public method that computes the number of days between January 1st of year 1 and January 1st of year 2. There's a simple loop from year 1 to the year preceding year 2, adding together the days in each year. Let's try out these new methods that we've just implemented with the year E7 class. Let's make a year now for now. I was born in 1960. Let's make one of those up. Let's make sure that yn is greater than or equal to yb. How much greater than? I've implemented the minus method, so I can subtract these, which will yield an integer. This minus sign is not calling the double minus, rather it's calling the minus method inside the year E7 class. That method works on the values of the two year E7 objects. Those are both doubles, therefore this minus sign is in fact the double minus. Let's add 53 to yb and make sure it equals yn. It does. There's two interesting things here. The plus operator is a method in the year E7 class used to add an integer to a year E7 object, and the equal operator compares two year E7 objects. Let's look at those. Plus we talked about in the slides, and the function to overload the equal operator is eq. Here we use equal on the value property of the year E7 objects. This equal is calling the numeric equal you've been using all along. Lastly, let's look at the days between the year I was born and the current year. 19,359. That tentatively concludes our year E7 class. We've introduced the properties, the constructor, and many other methods that give this class useful functionality. Next we'll turn to another class, date E7, which will use a year E7 object as one of its property values.